Hello guys. Welcome to my channel, Jura Tempest Federation. To quick warning, this video contains spoilers for the novel's extra web novel. This video continuation of the previous video archery competition. If you have not watched it yet, then please watch the link in the description below. But before we proceed further, please like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell for further updates. Ordinary people might not have seen what happened due to being blindsided by the angle. The vines filling up the sky were overwhelmingly big, and Kim Hajin's arrow was like a needle in comparison. However, every cadet could see what happened. Kim Hajin's arrow had clearly curved. In a way, it was a common sight. If it was a magic arrow, that is. However, magic power wasn't involved in Kim Hajin's archery. As such, they could hardly believe his arrow's flight path even after seeing it with their own eyes. Rather than an arrow, it was more like a well-trained raptor, cutting through the tiny gap between the vines and chomping down on its prey. Who? At that moment, Chai Nyan felt a catharsis and squeezed the popcorn bag in her hand. Popcorn shot out of the crumpled bag and fell on the front seat like hail. Ah, fuck, what is it? Fucking hell, who did? Oh, it's Nyan. Ah, sorry. You guys can eat that. Huh? Oh. Sure. The cadet sitting in front of her began to munch on popcorn. Chai Nyan watched them for a moment, then turned towards Yona. Hey, Yona, you saw that, right? Hearing Chai Nyan's awestruck voice, Yona grinned. Looks like he didn't want to go easy this time. Huh? What are you talking about? Yona's eyes were fixed on the archery range as she muttered. Chai Nyan turned her gaze to the archery range following Yona. Ah. Kim Hajin threw his bow away just now. He seemed somewhat angry. The favoritism was too harsh. It looks like he's quite mad. Yeah, surprisingly, he has quite a temper. Oh yeah, it was too obvious starting from the halfway mark. Is the magician discriminating against Kim Hajin because of his looks? Who, Huam? Yona barely held back the laughter that rose up from her heart. She didn't think Kim Hajin was that ugly, but it was true that he was uglier than Morin. It's not because of his looks. Grand Duchess Hajin must have intervened. Morin is her nephew. Hajin was the greatest expert of summoning magic, a master-rank magician who was bestowed the title One-Man Army by the Magic Tower Association. She could apparently summon and control 7 high-rank monsters. As most high-rank monsters had intelligence, it was difficult to even estimate how amazing she was. Didn't Grand Duchess Hajin become a naturalized Korean citizen a long time ago? How can she have relatives? Morin is her old relative. Her older sister still has French citizenship. Morin is her older sister's son. Grand Duchess Hajin was a celebrity who proudly claimed an S-rank grade on Yona's talent book. Naturally, Yona knew all about Hajin's family background. How do you know all this? That was what Chai Nyan wanted to know. As far as she was aware, there was nothing Yona didn't know when it came to people. You should take some time to study too. I'm too lazy. Chai Nyan retorted briefly, then stared at Kim Hajin. The judge asked Kim Hajin if he wanted to participate in the 375-meter range, but Kim Hajin shook his head. Then, he turned towards the crowd. At that moment, their eyes met. Kim Hajin looked at Chai Nyan. Although he quickly averted his gaze, Chai Nyan still received an odd feeling. She carefully placed her hand over her heart. It was beating a bit differently than usual. Chai Nyan couldn't help but remember what her teacher told her. That she would begin to only see his good points. No way, I'm not crazy. Chai Nyan laughed it off. Then, the host of the competition shouted loudly. Veritas class Kim Hajin succeeds at the 350-meter mark, achieving the first-place record. Clap, clap, clap. The competition ended with the applauses from the crowd. But when Chai Nyan was about to go back, she saw Kim Suho heading to the waiting room. Chai Nyan asked Yona, Hey Yona, wanna go to the waiting room? No. Yona stretched and got up. I'm busy. I have to go work. She had many things to do today. The analysis of the ginseng Kim Hajin invested would arrive in the afternoon, and there was also a meeting planned for Falling Blossom. In this meeting, she hoped to gain even a hint on Kim Hajin's past. That way, she would be able to repay her gratitude at least somewhat. How do you have so much work as a cadet? I know, right? After replying quietly, she began to head back to her dorm. Waiting room, dorm, waiting room, dorm. Chai Nayan hesitated between the two, and in the end, she sighed and began walking back to her dorm. The archery competition was now over. Currently, the five-star magician was at a loss for words. Even with an incredible level of favoritism shown towards Bear Morin, it was Kim Hajin who came out victorious. In that case, how was he supposed to react? Even he wasn't so audacious as to say, I'll punish that cadet for beating Grand Duchess' nephew. But contrary to his expectations, Ah Haein was full of smiles. Why are you so scared? It's only natural that my nephew would lose against someone like him. Only then did the five-star magician's throat clear. Ha, ha ha, is that so? Of course. Anyways, I'm jealous. That's what a specialized gift is. When she was young, becoming a hero was her dream. However, no matter how much effort she put in, her body wouldn't develop. Her body and gift were only specialized for magic, leaving her with no choice but to become a magician. Tell my nephew I want to see him. I want to take him out for lunch to console him. Yes, understood. Ah Haein got up from her seat. The five-star magician bowed as he glanced up at her. She barely passed 164 centimeters thanks to the kill heels hidden under her cape, but her real height was only 151 centimeters. There was a rumor that she was even shorter, and that her official height was the result of her tiptoeing during her physical measurements. Furthermore, her small face lacked even a single wrinkle, and her eyes were sparkly like a child's. The five-star magician secretly had doubts. What sane person would believe Ah Haein to be 30 years old? What sane person would connect her appearance to her title, one-man army, without hesitation? Weren't most Caucasians tall? Why was the Grand Duchess so short? Even the five-star magician's fourth-grade son seemed taller than her. It was then. Ah Haein suddenly turned around. She stabbed at the magician's heart with sharp eyes that she never showed before. What did you just think? Yes? Ah, and nothing. I just thought the golden stars on your cape were beautiful. Ah Haein lightly clicked her tongue. The magician felt a mysterious chill. Even in reality, the magic power Ah Haein released from her body cooled the internal temperature. Don't stare at me when I'm standing. I don't like it. After giving the magician a sharp admonishment, Ah Haein left the observatory. The magician stood in a daze for a while. The only thing he knew was that the points he won by flattering her all day, even going so far as to mess with the final match, had returned to zero. Sunday, 3 a.m. At this late time when children should have gone to bed long ago, Rachel opened her eyes in her wide bed. Her eyes hurt, perhaps because she shut her eyes too tightly trying to fall asleep. She sighed and raised her body. The penthouse room's wide space entered her sight. Her room was huge, but empty. She had no talents for decorating, so she left the room the way it was when she received it. The only things inside were the standard furniture, a couch, a bed, and a TV. The size of the room perhaps had something to do with how empty it felt. Ehu. Lately, she was being wrought with insomnia. Of course, insomnia was a chronic disease she was suffering with ever since that incident, but lately, it became too severe. Every time she lay down to sleep, anxiousness and apprehension coiled around her, and embarrassing moments from recent days rose up in her mind. Especially the mock artifact scramble. That was a class full of hurt. Even if Kim Suho was her opponent, she never expected to lose so helplessly. Furthermore, although her fight with Chai Nayan didn't come to a conclusion, she thought of it as her loss. After all, Chai Nayan had only switched to a sword a few months ago. If Kim Hajin wasn't there, Rachel's rising star title might have crumbled. Kim Hajin. She stopped thinking there. Rachel turned on her smartwatch. She only had 37 numbers on her contacts. She had lived most of her life without friends. Still, she entered the one group chat she was in. There were 153 unread messages. Kim Hajin, you little bastard, you were amazing today. How did you make that arrow curve? I know, right? The singing competition and now archery. Hajin hard carried the two events he participated in. Oh right, Jamer, are you here? What? Why aren't you talking? I'm sick. Don't talk to me. Oh look, there's an official video of Hajin's performance. There are already 10,000 likes. The talkative Jean Hozung added a link to the group chat. What is it? Suddenly growing curious, Rachel wriggled her hand up and pressed the link. In an instant, a hologram video popped up over a social media page. The title was as follows. The Rising Star Cube Cadets live performance, if. Ah. It's the song Kim Hajin sang before. Rachel moved her finger to stop the video, then paused. Although she found the lyrics to be slightly overbearing, the song itself was good enough to warrant listening to it multiple times. Huum. Rachel let out a dry cough and hit the resume button while pretending she did so by mistake. After a calm piano melody. If. Kim Hajin's sweet voice rang out. The music resounded in her huge room, filling up the empty space. Rachel went under the blanket and closed her eyes. Listening to music calmed her down. But he sounded much better live. His voice was clearer. Should I go buy a Bluetooth radio tomorrow? Bluetooth, that reminds me of Rome, ET2, Brute. Rachel's random thoughts cut off, and she fell asleep. That's it for today, guys. See you in next one. For further more update, please like, share, and subscribe. And do not forget to push notification bell.